Hello, fellow mortals, and welcome to Death, 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 the podcast about death, dying, and how it relates to us, the living. My name is Jordan Balgis, and as always, I am here with...
Jasmine Rayburn.
And Robert Irvin.
Yep, and This is our podcast.
We're back. We're here again.
After a long hiatus.
Yeah, we took a long break. For, just personal reasons. We all had shit to do.
Yep.
We ran out of our backlog of episodes that we had stacked up.
Yep.
Yeah.
We thought it was going to last us all summer.
Yep.
So naive.
It's early July.
Yeah. It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
It's literally the beginning of summer.
Yeah.
It's all good. I think that we'll be able to get back on top of it again. But yeah, we took 4 weeks off.
Yeah, sure.
3 weeks? 4 weeks?
3, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Time is relative.
And I'll
Yeah.
probably
Might have been 3
have
weeks
to
to
do
you, man.
some like midweek recording or something at some point.
Yeah,
because
I mean, we've
it's
done that
summer
before.
and shit's wacky.
Shit's wacky, man.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to spend most of today talking about how to memorialize your loved ones, people that have passed, and we'll just dive right into that.
Yeah, honoring the dead.
Yeah, remembering.
Yeah.
Totally.
We got candles.
Oh man,
We're gonna
we got
do it.
such nice little candles.
I got
Play
my
with fire.
my Prince matches.
They're pretty nice.
Yeah,
They're
they're
high quality,
Really nice.
high quality matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
where do you get Prince matches?
I got those in Seattle.
I was going
They
to
were
say Amazon
$6 American.
for matches.
But they're
For
high
matches.
quality. I didn't expect them to function so well, but they're really great. So you can all use a Prince match.
I mean, it's appropriate.
Or it
He's dead.
kind of petered out there. That's why I bought it. I miss him.
Miss
do.
him, man. Yeah,
It was better knowing he was in the world
he was a good one.
somewhere, making music,
He was a good one.
being freaky, hiring women.
Yeah. Being overbearing and extremely controlling to women.
Yeah,
So nice.
yeah. But the music, though, guys.
The music was great.
Yeah. He
So-
didn't have sex with any kids, as far as I know.
That's true.
The fact that we have to add that addendum.
Oh, what a
Is-
great guy.
Yeah. Asterisk that we know of.
That we
That we know of.
We don't know. We just don't know.
Yeah.
Can't assume with anybody anymore.
What a sad world we live in.
It's pretty great in some other ways, though.
Yeah. I think it's like that phenomenon of just like bad news always spreads way faster.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like per capita, there's a lot more decent people in the world than there are horrible fucking monsters.
Totally.
But
That's why I like working
don't
with
hear
dogs and children. They remind me that there's like
yeah.
so many good things going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, who wants to go first?
Well, do you have some people in mind? Wanna share some stories before we light our candles and have a little moment?
Yeah, sure. Who
Who are you thinking of when we?
I've
came
been
up with
thinking
this?
about my great grandma, who I've talked about
What's her name?
previously, Kay.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. I think I've talked about her death in the past on these podcasts, and just how I felt bad for not feeling bad. That old trope.
Yeah.
And the more I've been thinking about it now since we started the podcast, the more I've been thinking about, just how much I really, really like underappreciated her contribution to the family. Like, she was obviously like a matriarchal figure. My great grandfather, this is on my grandfather's side of the family. My great grandfather passed away like really, really shortly after I was born. Like, basically got to hold me as a newborn and then passed
Aw.
away. Which is a sweet story. The fact that he like basically, my family was living in Ottawa and he like was dying in a hospital in Comox, and he basically waited to die until he
Oh,
could see
that's
his
nice.
great grandson. So like that whole side of the family I really appreciate, and they've helped us out a lot. Like after my parents separated, and I think I undervalued just how much my grandma Kay did.
What do you
And-
think of most when you think of Kay?
I think about just like family get-togethers.
Yeah.
Just like family time, holidays. Think of like watching movies at her condo.
What
with
was
my
she
sister.
like?
She was quiet,
Yeah.
but she was like that. Like the quiet grandma that just like says something really funny off
Oh,
of like
nice.
nothing.
Yeah.
Like she just had quips. She had like crazy recipes. She had this one, like, I always think about this one recipe that it would just never fly now. It's basically just like a bowl of like frosting.
Oh yeah.
Essentially. And she called it like, I think she called it like Grandma Kay's pudding, like sweet pudding. And it's like, this isn't pudding, this is icing. I feel like this is just icing.
It's just sugar.
And it was like, how?
Just butter, icing,
yeah,
sugar,
and she
milk.
like always put sprinkles inside of it, stir it up, and it's like,
Sprinkles.
this is a bowl of frosting, and I'm eating it with my cake that already has frosting on it.
I have a lot of
All right.
memories of ice cream with sprinkles at my
Yeah.
grandparents' house. Like
Yeah,
my grandma
that's a
giving
thing.
me
It's like an
ice
old
cream with
person's
They
thing.
they had
sprinkles.
no flavor, but they're just fun.
It's just
Texture.
sugar. Yeah.
Texture.
Yeah.
A little bit of crunch. It's a little bit of crunch. But yeah, I mean, I think that, like when I think back on her now, knowing and like, you know, kind of examining in my memories, like how much she did for the whole family, I feel even worse for not really mourning her in the moment. But I think that has to do with the big A word again, Alzheimer's and dementia. She started to go, and she was going for like a couple years, and all of us as a family kind of started to grieve her before she died. So then when the actual death happened, the impact was felt, I think, at least for me, a little bit less. But
Those memories, those recent memories, can take over some of the other
yeah,
kind of brighter memories, you know, like if the most recent
yeah,
is watching them deteriorate, you can kind of forget about the happy times,
totally.
at least for a while while
Totally.
you're grieving.
Yeah. She was a great lady. She was part of what's called the Century Club, which is when you travel to over 100 countries
Yeah. Okay.
in
Damn.
your life. Yeah, her and my great grandpa Harold were big time travelers.
Love that.
Big time. Yeah.
Did she have a favorite
I
trip
don't
that
know.
she talked about?
She didn't talk too much about her travels. I think she really enjoyed her time in Africa.
Cool.
Yeah, she has lots of like really cool had lots of really cool elephant statues. She's like everywhere she went, she'd find like
Cool.
an elephant statue.
So Africa was like a gold mine
Totally.
for elephant statues. I'm sure.
Totally. So yeah, that's what I remember most about her is just like she lived this amazing life, and
Yeah.
then but she's like a relatively quiet, subdued person.
Remind me, how old were you when she passed?
I must have been, I want to say 14,
Just a
15,
kid.
maybe older,
Yeah.
maybe 16, but
Yeah.
but yeah, like old enough that like my parents had divorced, my sister had taken it really, really rough. I had taken it better, and kind of like classic man thing to like be stoic and
Yeah.
Yeah. Me
Um,
too.
totally. Yeah. So I just, I think I internalized a lot of the emotions around my mom and dad breaking up, and then just kind of like carried that through most of my adolescent life. And I think that's probably also another factor to me not grieving properly when she passed.
Well, you were a kid, right? You don't.
Yeah.
You can't just like figure out how to grieve. You know,
No,
you have
God,
to. You have to be guided
Yeah.
at that point, especially
Yeah.
as your first kind of major loss.
Totally.
Yeah, it takes a while to unpack that stuff.
Yeah.
But the important thing is to hang on to those memories you have of Kay being herself.
Yeah.
You know, and little moments that you shared with the family, right?
Yeah.
Because fortunately, I mean, you were older. At least you have actual memories of her
Totally.
as herself,
Yeah.
which is great.
Which is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Not to like
How old were
belittle your
you
experience.
when she started? Like when the Alzheimer's started?
I mean, probably around 12, 13.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it moved pretty fast, hey?
Yeah, it did. It progressed pretty quickly. But she died of uteral cancer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She had cancer twice. She beat it once, and then the second time she was, I think, 98. And she got cancer again, and she was
Yeah.
just like, you know what?
Yeah.
No medication, just paid medication.
Well, I
Fair
think at that point there's not even a lot they can do, right? 'Cause
No.
the treatment's gonna.
No, so, but then like with that diagnosis came like a really, really rapid ramp up of dementia and Alzheimer's. So that was the tougher thing to deal with.
Yeah,
For sure.
totally.
I mean, for us, like we don't know how hard it is to die of cancer, but we know as peripheral people around her how hard it is.
Yeah,
to
cancer's
suffer
hard
from
for
dementia.
everyone.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
And Alzheimer's is hard for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's quite the combo.
Yeah, it's literally a deadly cocktail.
Oof. Yeah, it's brutal.
But yeah,
Um,
I mean, I didn't have too much to share about her, but
That's okay.
I've been just thinking about her a lot, and
When you say
kind of
like
meditating on her.
thinking about the contributions to the family,
Yeah.
what stands out besides her icing?
Probably just the icing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just kind of like a presence thing. She just has like
matriarchal presence.
matriarchal
I mean,
presence.
also, you wouldn't exist without her.
Yeah.
That's part of it. Like, and I think that I really liked seeing my grandpa and her together because they had a really strong like mother and son relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of showed me how to love my mom. And, like, we don't have to get along all the time, but
Yeah.
man, do they love each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think just like her natural presence and how she carried herself and just being good humored and being very loving and caring. But like as far as like physical contributions, I mean, yeah, nothing super big stands out, but she's just there. She's present.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just a great grandma.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What about you, Jordan? You got anyone in mind?
Nope.
Oh
Okay.
shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
I haven't thought of them.
Teacher,
no.
don't ask me. Teacher, don't ask me.
No, I guess it'd be my friend Taylor, who I've talked about
Yeah.
on here before.
Yeah.
Yeah, important person in my life that had a big impact at like a formidable time in my life as well. Yeah, I don't know. I think, like, just thinking about it now, one way that I guess to honor him and think about it, like, we always, because he traveled around a bunch, and we would email each other, and we always planned to get together at some point again,
Right.
and then obviously never happened. And so that's probably something I should take away from that, of not putting that off,
Yeah.
of like seeing people that I care about,
Yeah.
especially being out here now and like going back to the prayer, like going back to Saskatoon and stuff like that, and family and all that kind of thing. Is that like, I mean, I haven't been back in almost 2 years.
Yeah.
It's important to go back to where you're from.
Yeah.
Kind of ground yourself again.
Yeah, and like, well, and see the people that are important to me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But that takes time and money. It does.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
But there's things you can do in the meantime without going back, even if it is, it's enough that you and Taylor were in contact
Yeah.
and that you were communicating with each other and letting each other know that you care and that you're thinking about each other when you're far away.
I mean, we only knew each other and we're in the same, like, we lived together for like 3 months. And that's
Right.
like, that's how long we knew each other before.
Yeah.
He went off to Africa.
Great country.
Yeah. Yeah. The best country.
Oh my goodness.
Um,
What's so you talk about kind of knowing him at this really formative time in your life. How did you guys meet?
Katumavik,
Oh,
like the
right.
volunteer program.
Yeah.
We were
Okay.
both in it. And so, and we were the only two guys in our group. Everyone else was women, so we shared a room basically.
Right.
Cool.
And then
I had a lot of friends that did Katimavik.
it's fucking one of the best
Yeah,
things I've ever
sweet.
done.
Yeah.
It's too bad
I
it's not
regret
really
not
around.
taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like before then. I grew up in my little small town in Saskatchewan, hadn't really seen a lot or done
Yeah.
that much, and he had seen a lot and done that much. He's a few years older than me, and so that was good. And like we used to we would pretty much every night stay up for a while, like debating each other.
All right.
He was a staunch atheist and like anti-religion and stuff like that. And I'm not a religious person, but I would always do the kind of devil's advocate thing. And it was,
That's always fun to do.
That's how you learn.
yeah. And I think
Yeah.
he learned quite a bit from me as well in that sense, because it would usually end with him being like kind of jokingly frustrated of like,
Right.
you're too good at being a devil's advocate.
I never thought about it that
yeah,
way.
exactly. And so we did have that kind of, I think we had an impact on each other. He wanted me to date his sister.
Aw.
Yeah. He's like,
That's a pretty good compliment.
He's
Well,
like,
that-
I
and-
want you to be part of my family.
yeah, and he said that to me.
That's
He's like,
some
he's like,
old
I've
world
never had
shit.
he's like, I've never had a friend that I wanted to date my sister.
Yeah.
And that one, I
Aw.
was like, oh, that's really sweet.
So sounds like he was a sort of big brother dynamic a little bit, hey?
A little bit, I think, which is
Like
was
that
a new
level
experience.
of
I never really had that.
familiarity.
Yeah. And like, I don't have any brothers. And
Right.
so I think, yeah, that was part of it too, of that kind of thing. Like I had a lot of close guy friends in high school, but, you know, we didn't live together or anything
Yeah.
like that, right?
And
Yeah.
it's one of your first experiences away from home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Any like particular event or memory that stands out?
I mean, we went to Kelowna once because he had to get shots to go to Africa. And that was a good time. That was like us outside of like, you know, the group things that you would do through the program. No, I don't know. I think probably just the like conversations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was an interesting guy too. Like he like refused to shower for a while.
Gross.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
and
nah.
and was really trying hard to stop using. He's like debating not using toilet paper anymore and just
No.
wiping with his left hand.
You know
Oh,
what?
man.
Over 1 billion people do it. So
Well, that's the thing, right?
No shade.
And like he traveled
it's
and
less
like,
waste.
and he was a huge hippie, which
Sounds like it.
yeah, and I am
Did he have
now
dreads?
a hippie. No, he didn't.
Oh,
A white guy with dreads.
But he didn't wash his hair, and he had very very curly hair. He just kept it short.
All right.
I mean, I rarely wash my hair now as well.
Yeah, with super curly hair, you don't really need to wash it.
Yeah, especially if it's thicker and
Yeah.
longer for some reason. I find it stays cleaner if it's longer than if it's shorter. Gets greasier.
Yeah.
But it does eventually get to a point where it just cleans itself.
Yeah.
You don't need it. So like those kinds of things. He turned me into a big hippie, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Katimovic kind of does that in general.
Yeah.
You know.
I haven't showered since then.
Yeah, exactly.
Still
But you
feeling-
guys know that.
Still
yeah.
feeling
We
like
know.
still feeling like he had a pretty big influence on who you are now, how you think about things.
Yeah, for sure. Just exposing me to a lot of that kind of stuff. Because I definitely wasn't a hippie before that. And yeah, like I said, that's also just the program in general, but he was more intense than the program. You didn't necessarily have to be a hippie and be in that program.
Right. He took it to the next level.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like the first person that kind of taught me how to think critically and like think freely.
Yeah.
And that is like a powerful thing to do
Yeah.
to someone.
Yeah, and I think,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And
And safely, you know?
Yeah.
Like to do it with someone that you trust and be able to like explore different ideas without being shot down or being like alienated, you
Shamed
know?
for your
Yeah,
ideas.
or cut out of a group, you know, where you're just like free to explore different ideas and try different
Yeah.
things and learn with each other that way.
I guess, yeah, and one thing too, like he taught me a lot of that stuff, and I kind of helped him with like relationships,
Yeah.
and, like women and that kind of thing. Like he was awkward in that sense a little bit, and really
Wingmanned
didn't.
him.
Yeah,
You taught him how to shower.
Yes.
I taught him how to.
That might be a big
Rule
part of
1.
it. Yeah.
Don't stink.
This is soap.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. This will help.
I guess we probably
more
shouldn't
than
be
you think
roasting
it
him
will.
right now. It's really not the right approach, but maybe it is. I don't know.
Like I said, he was a staunch atheist, so that's a weird
he
thing
can
too.
take it.
Is that like in his mind, like in his belief system, he's just gone.
Right.
He's dead, right? Which is
How do you feel about that?
You kind of have to honor it.
yeah.
Right.
I think so. And I kind of believe that as well. Like, I think there's a possibility, but I kind of believe that. So I don't find comfort in that, like, believing in an afterlife, I guess. So I'm okay with it. But it is weird. Like, I've thought about, like, going to his gravesite or something like that or doing that. But then that's the other side of it where I'm like, well, but he didn't believe in any of that. So
Yeah.
why? And I've never really been a person that does that kind of thing. So,
People
Kinda.
live on in the memories of others,
yeah, exactly.
you know. So
And
the
the
best thing
impact
you
that they
can
have in
do
the world.
is just remember him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that like it kind of ties back to what you're talking about with like feeling like you don't have enough time
Yeah.
to do stuff. Like if you're an atheist, that's a huge fear,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Because there is nothing after.
Mhm.
So I have to make sure that everything I do in these, 90-ish years, we hope,
Yeah.
really counts.
And I
It's
think
a
that
fear
is-
and a freedom as well, though.
Sure.
You know, because you get to live in the moment in a way that you wouldn't if you were
Worried about what comes after.
saving up for real estate in the afterlife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to let
Yeah,
go
I hear
of
that.
this idea of, that you're gonna that any accomplishment really matters.
Yeah.
You know, like, or, you know, like it's really about being present and living in the moment, right? Because you don't have anything else.
Agreed.
So it's really just, it just depends on how you want to look at it at the time, you know?
Yeah, that's a much better way to look at it than how I do.
Well, I mean,
That's very
I
healthy.
definitely go
I
through
should do
moments.
that.
I thought I was going to die before 25, like,
Yeah.
you know, from 16 on. And, you know, so I felt like constantly anxious about that.
Yeah.
I kind of gave up on trying to accomplish things because I was like, fuck,
What's the
I don't
point?
have
Yeah.
any time. What is the point? But now it's just like, I value day-to-day interactions so much
Mm-hmm.
because it's all you get.
Yeah.
As long as they're not interactions with tourists.
Fucking
I had a guy in a fucking MAGA hat fucking asked me for directions the other day. It's
Really?
I've never seen a MAGA hat in the wild.
just, are you
Me
kidding
neither.
me?
Not as like I've seen one like ironically at a
I
friend's
had a
house.
very Canadian
friend has
approach to
one,
it and just pretended I didn't hear him and kept walking. I was like, nope, not today.
Yeah, I definitely would not.
I'm busy.
Somebody wearing a mega hat,
I'd
I
probably-
would not
I'd-
help them out.
I'd probably just give him bad directions.
Well, he was just, I couldn't
Yeah,
be
he's gonna
bothered.
walk to
I
the
was
end of
like,
that pier and just keep walking.
I was like, I just don't have the emotional energy to
Yeah.
just interact with this old white guy who's definitely an asshole.
Yeah.
In Canada, like, get that hat off.
Yeah, right?
Come to my country and treat me like I'm the foreigner here. Fuck off.
I mean, it is convenient that you can tell just by looking at them that they're a piece of shit.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
nice. That's
Like,
good.
thanks for giving me the heads
yeah,
up.
it's like a
Yeah.
billboard.
I hate it
Yeah,
when you get
yeah.
like halfway into a conversation with someone and you
And then they
realize
whip
they're a
out the
piece.
MAGA hat and throw it on. And you're like, dang it.
Oh, you got me again.
Got me. I made friends
always
with a
happens.
Republican.
Shit.
Not all Republicans are bad, but
Yes, they are. They're television villains.
I mean, if you're fiscally conservative, that's
That's a different
fine. That's
thing.
your own prerogative.
That's a different thing.
What about you, Jasmine? Who died and made you sad?
so
Who
many.
died? Yeah, I got a long list. It's hard because it's like I don't want to leave anyone out, but I
Yeah,
have
I
to
just-
choose one.
I just decided to go with that one. I also thought about doing my grandma, but I
Yeah,
was like,
you did.
did your great
Rob
grandma.
did your grandma. You did your
I already
friends.
took it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dibs.
Dibs,
Hmm.
grandma.
Also, I never want to say the sentence, I thought about doing my grandma again.
Gross.
Yeah, that's bad
I
context.
was gonna let it slide, but
That's bad context. It's not what I meant. Well, you sure said it with enthusiasm. You had a certain candor to your voice.
oh god,
It was unmistakable.
I can't believe I haven't thought about this at all. I'm
You didn't
such a
think about this at
hypocrite.
all?
I did, but then it hurt, and then I stopped.
Right. I definitely had that
It was
moment
too
last night.
spicy.
I definitely had that. I had that moment last night where I was like, kind of
Yeah.
just doing like chore. I think I was making chili, and I was thinking about my grandma, my dead grandma, and I was like, nope, not gonna think about this for about another hour.
I'm gonna put that in
Yeah.
a box, and I'm gonna
stick that in a
seal
box
it up.
for now.
Yeah, I definitely didn't think about it until like I kind of knew
Probably for the best.
it was between those two that I would talk about. I was like, I'm not going to think about it until
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, no, I think that's a valid way to do it.
Yeah.
The
That's probably the most genuine
tricky part
response you're gonna get.
for me is that I'm trying to be like, who do I talk about that I haven't already
Yeah.
honored? And there's like quite a bit of funerals and things that I've missed. I think maybe I'll talk about the first one that really got me. Is he was a classmate of mine,
Yeah.
and his name's Kyle. So I should probably warn everyone that knows me that I'm gonna talk about him.
I had a
Yes.
classmate named Kyle that died too.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they
High
drink?
five.
Did they? Oh man. That was-
Okay, I'll do it.
That was a sad high five.
Sad high five. So, not that this is the important part, but Kyle was killed suddenly on a Europe trip.
I think you talked about this.
Yeah. He was hit by a car. He looked the wrong way, dropped a ball in the street. So he was killed instantly, basically.
Fuck.
17 years old. Half of the class was still on the Europe trip. They couldn't get flights all back together, so they had to like continue going on the trip. And the other half of the class was home wondering what the fuck was going on while the rumor mill went wild. So we had this really like
That's
prolonged
bad.
grieving process.
That's bad press.
But and a couple of our friends who were there, they were so sweet. When they came back, they like took the people who were kind of left behind and told us what happened and had a little walk with us individually, and were really respectful and responsible about it, which was really kind of them. They didn't have to give us that detail, but I really appreciated it at the time, because it was just so much wondering what was going on, and everyone was like going crazy. Like, they wanted to decorate his locker. They wanted to have his like an empty seat for him at our graduation ceremony. We ended up having his truck in the rink during our graduation, because he had this green truck that everyone loved, and
that's just so
he was like,
quintessentially Canadian.
it's like major Sasky. He was like, he was
a very small town.
having your
like,
having your
about-
graduation in a hockey rink and having a pickup truck inside the hockey rink is just like,
yeah.
that warms my heart.
It was, we used to all like, as a class or as a group, we all used to like go out for lunch together every day. We'd go somewhere like as a group, and we were all like, even people who were kind of on the outs or would fight or whatever, it's like we were still like kind of family.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big class. It was like 20 kids maybe.
That's really small.
I can't remember, maybe 25.
Right.
And yeah, we did tons of shit together. We were all at the same kind of parties. He was like a pretty quiet guy, dignified, shy. He had a really great laugh when you could get it out of him, like a really low laugh. He was really into dirt biking, and
Nice.
he was just a down home prairie boy.
Yeah.
You know, no one expected what happened to happen, and he was really generous and funny, and it was just such a shock, because he was, just a genuinely good guy. Everyone liked him.
Yeah.
There was no one who didn't like him. He wasn't everyone's like best friend, but he had no enemies.
Right.
He was in and out of groups. His parents were really nice people. He was a really good big brother.
Oh, so he was
His little sister like absolutely idolized him, and I think she was like 12 or something when he died, so that hit her really, really hard.
Yeah,
because
how old were you guys? How old was
17.
your class? Yeah.
Yeah, 17. And it was just like the first time I think a lot of us realized that we could die.
Yeah, and
terrifying thing.
Suddenly, like there was no drunk driving, there was no drug addiction, there was no reason.
Right.
It was just a second.
Was it just that like the cars are drive on the other side of the road? Basically?
They were playing catch on the sidewalk basically
Right.
as they were walking, and
Man.
it kind of went over into the street a little bit. I if I'm remembering this correctly, if I'm not remembering this correctly, I apologize, but this is what I believe I was told. He went to catch it,
Right.
and he fell into the street
Oh
to
fuck.
catch the ball, and in that split second that he would have had to get up, he looked the wrong way.
Right.
And this guy on his commute just hit him.
Fuck.
And totaled the car, threw him to a tree. He was already dead but by the time anyone got to him.
That's brutal.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was like, super weird. We didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on until, like, one of my classmates heard the coroner's, in a super small town, right? Only one funeral home.
Yeah.
Coroner's daughter was gossiping about it,
man.
basically. And then another friend overheard it, and then it basically she called me, and I thought she was lying, because I had these like stress nightmares before they were going on their trip, and I kept having dreams about being at an airport and waiting for someone's body. I knew someone had died in this dream, and I had it like every night for a week, and so everyone in my class knew I had this dream, because I was like, stressed out about it. I don't know why. And like the last thing I said to Kyle was, he dropped me off after one of our lunches out. I was like, said, have fun in Europe, don't die.
Oh man.
And so it was like really weird, and didn't really know what to do with that for a long time, because everyone knew that. And I was like, fuck, I don't know. Like, and then I got the phone call, and I thought my friend was just pranking me.
Right.
And I thought it was another one of our friends who had died when she told me.
Man.
Like, she's like, something happened. And I was like, oh, is it so-and-so? Did something happen to so-and-so? And she was like, no, it's Kyle. And yeah, it took me a while for it to sink in.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then we like all kind of got together. We went to my English teacher's house. the people who were left behind, we all like hung out at my English teacher's house and cried and mourned and sat together, and we just spent it feels like a long time just hanging out at each other's houses and drinking, and but it's like, it's crazy because I struggle so much to remember Kyle, because the whole situation surrounding his death kind of, it's like, and he was so young, he didn't have really time to become who he was going to be, or
that shy introverted guy might have turned into
we don't know
anything, right?
He was
which is the saddest part.
A lovely person. He was just a nice person. He never picked on anyone. He never was like made mean jokes. Yeah. Even though like the guys in our class would play rough with each other and stuff like that. But he was always pretty
Saskatoon, man.
He's just small town Saskatchewan. Yeah. And so it was just like it was weird. So I don't think about it very much because it was just not just losing him as a friend in my daily life, but also just figuring out where we fit in that as the ones who were left behind, how to relate to the kids who saw it. Yeah. How to be there for them while we're grieving, all the parents freaking out because they want to be there for their kids, but at the same time, they're so terrified and so grateful that it wasn't their kid. Yeah. So they're fucked up too, and they like let us mourn in really unhealthy ways because they couldn't talk to us about it. Yeah. Super small town, so it was just like a ripple effect. The whole town just froze.
Yeah, it's wild.
And then there was a lot of deaths after that.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like, it was just nonstop for like 5 years. It just felt like kids were dying every year, more than one kid a year. It's like, so I forget people. There's some people that I forgot about, and I'm like, oh shit, he died too. I forgot about that, and then I feel guilty because I forgot about it.
Yeah, which is a weird problem to have.
Yeah, it's you feel so guilty,
right? So bad.
You spend so much time with these people, even if you don't like them. Yeah, you're just
they're still part of your daily. They're still part of your daily life when you live in a small enough community.
Yeah, it's so weird. It got to the point where I don't think people believed me when I talked about it. Yeah, but he was the first that really changed us. Some people didn't really get out of that experience.
Yeah, I mean,
some people never recovered from that.
Like you said, when you're a kid, 17 is kind of on the borderline for being called a kid, but when you're a kid and another kid dies that I don't have that experience. Yeah, it's weird. I don't have any, I don't have a frame of reference for that other than the context of your story. Yeah. And it's such a different thing than being a kid and having your 98-year-old grandma die.
Yeah, and that's not to diminish the experience of losing a grandparent at all.
But I'm just saying it's
you're not just mourning a person, you're mourning a part of yourself that
a loss of childhood almost.
Yeah, that goes away when you realize that you can die for any reason.
Yeah. There's a lot of young deaths now that I think about it, actually.
Yeah,
in
Saskatchewan
my town.
kills teenagers.
There's a lot of suicides. A few people have killed themselves.
There's no supports.
Yeah.
There's no programming. There's no transit for people in rural communities. So drinking and driving kills a lot of teens every year. It's rough, it's really the Wild West in some ways as far as youth supports go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just small communities and rural communities.
Yeah, and also conservative leadership that doesn't put funding into social programming.
Yeah. Boom, got him. Brought it back to politics.
It's a big deal, and it's a big reason why I would never raise children there.
Yeah. Fair enough, man.
I mean, I really liked growing up in the town that I grew up in.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that sounds also way bigger and different now.
Hey, it had its bonuses. At least when we lost people that we loved, we all had each other.
Yeah.
There was people around that
there
could
is
share
that community
experience
support.
And it's very touching.
Whether
in
the
some
support
ways.
is healthy or not is
we're figuring it out, and
we're still figuring it out.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's just wild. I did have a loss before that. It wasn't so much my loss, but he was a close family friend. He died at 16 of a drug overdose.
Yeah.
And
this is pre-fentanyl.
Yeah, this is.
You gotta be doing a lot of drugs.
I think it was a cocaine overdose. I'm pretty sure.
It's a lot of cocaine.
He was 16,
wow.
and his friends just left him there.
Yeah.
They got scared. And,
Yeah, they
and they
thought
just
that, well, we can't call
and
this
they,
in.
Yeah, and
blah,
they just
blah.
ditched him, and he was brain dead, and the parents had to make the call.
Fuck.
Yeah, and so that was really, obviously that was rough, but there was part of me, I was pretty young when that happened. I think I was probably 8 or 9. So I didn't really get it.
Yeah,
and
that's pretty young.
he was kind of like a family figure. He was really close with my older sister, and that was her. Like that fucked her up. I still don't. I don't know if there's any healing from that, but there was also part of me that was like, he did a thing, and that thing had a result. You know what I mean? Like it was.
Yeah, it wasn't
not his fault. I don't want to say it's his fault, but it just like it seemed like to me like or drinking and driving. You know, it's like you drink and you drive, you lose control. Like I could rationalize it.
Sure.
Like this makes sense.
Sure.
But Kyle's death, I couldn't do that. I was like, it
was random.
It was a total freak accident.
Yeah.
And I think that part of it was really,
That's the jarring thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the thing about like overdose deaths or suicide deaths is like you always have like this crutch to lean on of justification of like, yeah, it's like this is a thing that they chose to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that's not really the point of that death.
No.
Really. But especially as a 9-year-old kid, like you don't
Well, you
know
just
how to,
understand
you don't know how
cause
to
and
rationalize
effect.
that.
It's not even
You
like,
don't even know what a cocaine is.
I mean, I totally did. But
I was a wild 9-year-old.
yeah, it was more just like, it made sense in a way.
Yeah.
Like, it had
What were you,
Yeah, I
what were
understand
you
that.
doing at 9 years old?
Cocaine.
cocaine. Yeah. It's just my parents were very open. We had a lot of foster siblings.
Yeah, okay.
These
fair
were
enough.
troubled kids, you know?
Yeah. No, that makes
So
sense.
we had to talk about these things.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know what one weed was when
Yeah.
I was 9 years old.
Having foster siblings really like you don't get to like
You experience
just hang
a lot
on
of
to innocence when
you
you're
experience a lot of other shit.
with traumatized children who come
Yeah.
from really fucked up households. You know,
Fair.
I thought
Yeah,
my
that's fair.
household was fucked up, but no, it was not.
Nah,
Nah,
I was fine.
yeah. But I should say at least one like memory of Kyle as a person.
Yeah.
I remember once we, as a friend group, we went to White Bear Lake. That's like our, that's where we hung out.
Your drinking spot.
Well, everywhere was a drinking
Cracking-
spot when you were in high
cracking
school.
Cracking four
Yeah.
locos and
Drinking Smirnoff straight from the bottle.
hell yeah, dude.
Doing rev bombs.
Oh God.
Excuse me?
Uh-huh.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Anyway. Not
You
the
do,
point.
right?
Revs, the
Yeah.
blue drink.
Yeah.
It looks like barbicide.
Yeah, it pretty much
Sweet.
is barbicide
Yeah.
Sweet.
with that corporate blue flavoring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blue raspberry.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a fucking blue raspberry in your life?
No.
That doesn't exist.
No.
Just call it raspberry.
Are those 2-liter coolers? Like Canada
Of like
whatever.
growers.
Growers.
Like
is-
growers
is like
There's
the
there's
equivalent
another
out here.
equivalent.
There's like growers, and then there's also Canada something.
Okay.
But yeah, they're the same. I never fucking
Doesn't-
touched those things because they were so gross.
I'll never touch them
Fireball?
again. I still have a soft spot for
Fucking
Fireball.
hallucinated on Fireball.
Really? Holy shit.
God, I had like
I gotta
a
drink more
breakdown
Fireball.
on Fireball when I was in high school. Like it was bad. I do not know how I recovered socially from that
Fireball
experience.
reminds me of working up mountains, like ski resorts. As like a lifty, you always have a little
Oh yeah.
Keep
thing
you
of
Stay
warm.
Fireball with you.
warm.
Yeah, keeps you warm.
Yeah.
Constricts your blood vessels, actually makes you way colder.
Yep.
Makes you stop, you can't shiver.
Yeah.
But the
So-
cinnamon's hot.
But it's so spicy.
Anyway, Kyle. Yeah, we're at White Bear and we were just like kind of swimming as a group of friends, and I just remember catching fireflies
Nice.
and just kind of
That's a nice memory.
running along
Yeah.
the water with our friend group, and also just
Smirnoff out
like
of the
breaking
bottle.
into abandoned farmhouses.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
And
that
like
delinquent shit, that's my shit.
yeah, stealing tractors and like moving them to like neighboring fields and shit like that. Like
Stealing cows.
we were so bored. Like we would do shit like swap people's Christmas ornaments.
Oh, we did stuff like that too.
So bored.
Trading game.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's like, fuck. If you got nothing else to do
Fucking
in
so
rural
funny.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make your own fun.
Yeah, this gnome lives here now.
We would just have like the
This is
most
your
like
house now.
asinine pranks and shit as well. Like there's one time we were at Jimmy's, the Chinese restaurant, as all Prairie Towns have. Chinese restaurant.
It's called Jimmy's.
Well, it was called Canadian Cafe, but we all called it
Oh,
Jimmy's because
okay.
that was the owner's name.
All right.
Canadian name. And
His Christian name.
yeah. And he had like all these beer bottles, like a bag of beer bottles in the back of his truck.
All right.
We just took them out and we just covered his truck with all the beer bottles, so he had to like take all of them. We thought it was so fucking hilarious. It was like the lamest joke ever, but we were just like
that's pretty
killing
lame.
ourselves. Just like while he was eating lunch, we're like, oh, we're gonna do this, and just like
Yeah, we would do dumb shit like that
Yeah.
too all the time.
he was always like down to give people rides and shit. Like it was awesome.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
He ever like throw people in the back of the truck and
Oh, fuck
rip
yeah.
around?
Of course
Yeah.
he did. Yeah.
Fond memories of that
Yeah.
type of shit.
Going to the party with like 10 people in the back of the
Yeah.
truck.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I remember like our friend bought his truck when he died too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Driving
really?
it around after. It was weird.
Yeah.
Because his truck was like such a part of him.
It's like a
but-
totem of
yeah.
him.
Yeah, and he was like a competitive, like dirt biker.
Yeah, you say he's a dirt biker.
Yeah, and his sister is now, I think,
That's
still
cool.
probably.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Take up the mantle.
yeah. I just wanted to spend a little bit more time like talking about Kyle because I realized that I spent a lot of time talking about like the situation surrounding his death
Yeah.
because it was so traumatizing
Mm-hmm.
for so many people.
Fair enough. That's
You know,
a big one.
Our whole town like changed after that. So yeah, he was just a kid, you know, doing kid stuff.
Sounds like a good kid.
Yeah, he was.
Sounds like a good prairie boy.
It's weird to think of him as like a child now, as an
Yeah.
adult, looking back and having this person be like preserved.
Yeah.
You know, the bad haircut and the acne and all the shit that we all had
Totally.
going
Yeah.
on, and thinking about like what were his hopes and dreams, what were his
Yeah, like
thoughts.
what would he be like if he
Yeah,
had grown up with you?
probably to own a shop or work in a shop somewhere and
Yeah.
have a bunch of kids, and he was like real prairie,
Yeah.
you know.
Legit.
Yeah,
Or-
he
or
wasn't
tucked in
pretending
flannel
like I
shirts.
was. He wasn't a poser like
The
me.
tucked in t-shirts.
Tucked in t-shirts, yeah.
Boot cut jeans.
Oh,
With big
yeah.
belt with the big belt buckle.
Yeah.
That's
Mostly
how I'm
mostly
imagining.
bunny hugs and
Hoodies for everyone that's
Yeah.
not from Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I went on and on about that. I didn't know where I was going with that.
Should
Yeah.
we just light some fucking candles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll take a little moment of silence.
Which is great for a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For the
purely
readers.
purely audio medium. We'll do a moment of silence.
I encourage you, listeners, when we are having our little 1 minute of silence,
Scream.
Yeah.
think of someone you
At
care
the
about.
top of your lungs.
Think about someone you miss. Think about someone you love.
Yeah. Don't hold it too close to the.
Whoosh.
Don't hold it too close to this. The phone thing.
All right.
Well, guys, how do you feel after that?
Feel
After all
pretty
this-
good.
all this
I feel
sharing.
sad, but I feel glad to have talked about it and to
Yeah.
hear some of your experiences as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
I feel like proud.
Feeling good, but also kind of uncomfortable, probably.
Yeah. Might be just like the enormous amount of coffee we just drank as well.
Yeah,
I
that probably
wouldn't
doesn't
say I
help.
feel uncomfortable. I feel pretty comfortable sharing stuff with you. I feel uncomfortable and anxious about posting all of it
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Right
you're,
now I
you're the
feel-
guy that's got to pour through it and edit it.
Yeah, that's true.
I can just be done after this.
Yeah.
That is the hardest
Except
part.
for the,
I usually give
the
it.
warning I'm going to send to all my loved ones.
Yeah.
Be like,
That'll be
hey,
fun for you. Yeah, episodes like this, I usually give it a couple days before I
Yeah,
go
for
back
sure.
into the file and
Well, 'cause
start digging around again.
we got to go get ready to celebrate Pride now.
It's true.
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
we can do it with our, I know
It's
it's
a little overcast.
shitty weather, but
Oh.
we could do it with our, vulnerability,
It's true. Yeah.
everything open.
Gonna need a shot of festivity
Yeah.
to get me out of the funk, you know. But
No,
generally, I feel
I'm
pretty
like,
good.
Pretty proud of you guys.
I feel pretty good right now.
I know it's hard to talk about, and
It is, but it always feels better after talking about it.
yeah,
It's like
We
scary and nerve-wracking in the moment, but
Yeah.
we got to put our money where our mouth is
Mhm.
because
start doing things like this more often.
Well, you know
Money's
what?
so dirty though.
Yeah, you don't want to actually donate pennies or anything.
Yeah,
That's-
it's yeah.
you don't know where those have been.
See what I mean? It's hard to talk about this stuff.
About what?
Why are we even here?
Yeah.
Yeah, just because
No
it's
reason.
like we know it's hard, but it's important.
Absolutely. And if you want to share your stories with us,
Yeah.
follow us on the social medias
Mm-hmm.
at that pod.
Yep. On
Across the
Instagram
board.
and
Yeah.
Twitter. No, not Twitter. Keep on saying Twitter.
Why don't we have a Twitter?
I think we have a Twitter.
Oh, okay.
I just
We don't even know if we have a Twitter.
we have a Twitter. I
We're
just
professionals.
Yeah.
Never go on it.
Facebook, we're at Death Pod. Same with Insta. And maybe Twitter.
Seriously,
yeah.
You know what? I know everyone I've talked to about this podcast and about my own experiences. Everyone has a story. We want to hear yours.
Yeah.
We care about it.
And
we
we
want to
have-
learn more.
And we have gotten a lot of feedback in person of people talking about their loss or a loss in their life.
Yeah.
And this helping.
Their
so.
own relationship with death and their
Yeah.
own fears about their
Whether
life.
it's healthy or unhealthy.
Yeah.
And we want to hear more about what you guys say. And if it's something that our listeners are comfortable with in the future, we want to be able to share some other people's stories
Yeah.
in this format.
Yeah, we're just three
could
people.
Obviously anonymously, but
Yeah.
yeah, we think that would be helpful for everybody who listens and us.
Mm-hmm.
Because
So
making content is hard and stealing from you guys is easy.
Wow, you took such a beautiful
Hell yeah.
thing and made
Yeah.
it ugly.
Yeah, totally.
That's Rob's superpower.
That's my superpower.
yeah.
I use it for evil.
So if you got stories, you want to email us too, death@deathpod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Comment on our posts.
If you
Whatever.
feel like you have an interesting death story or an interesting way that death has affected you in the past,
Yeah. It doesn't even have to be interesting. It just has to be yours.
I would prefer interesting.
It's all interesting. That's the thing, right? It's all interesting.
No, you're right. You are 100%
There's
correct.
so much variety in these experiences, and
Yeah.
you know, the more we talk about it, the easier it gets, right?
Yep, exactly.
You feeling like this is getting easier as we do it, guys? Or are we just getting into it now and it's getting harder still?
I find that the research-based episodes are getting easier.
Yeah.
These
The
ones
emotional
these
episodes?
ones, I think, are always going to be kind of a base level of emotional effort you have to put into it.
I'm convinced that it's going to get easier
Yeah, you're
to
probably
talk
right.
about this stuff.
You're probably right.
Only time will tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just need to be more comfortable with feeling my emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
really what
It's
it
a big
is.
step.
It
But we're
is.
taking it
I have no
because
problem.
we care about it.
Yeah, I have no problem talking about death or thinking about death, really. But feeling feelings I'm real bad at.
Do you guys want to do mummification next?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think that would be a really cool topic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
All
Next
right.
episode, mummification.
Modification.
Anyway, I'll say anyway one more time.
And remember, as always,
We're all gonna die.
Yeah, go the spooky route.
Yeah, we went
I don't know.
spooky after that. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.